If you aren't already aware, a new AI language model, DeepSeek, has shaken up the AI space, so much so that NVIDIA's stock price went down by 17 to 25% in a single day. In this video, I want to show you why it shouldn't surprise you, also why it shouldn't really matter to us, the average users. Not that we're average, of course. So DeepSeek is a free-to-use open source language model that is apparently on par with ChatGPT 01 and Claude Sonnet for reasoning, for maths, very good at constructing textual responses to you. But the question is it actually worth using? In this video, I want to go through how to use it, how to access it, and then I want to compare it to the others so that you can evaluate such models that will keep coming out in the future. So to access DeepSeek, you'd go into deepseek.com. You get this starter window. Start now. You can log in with your Google account, which is what I've done, but you can create a user. And what you get is a window just very similar to all the others, except much more basic. So it doesn't have the added functionality. So you've got your chat history on the left, you've got your chat window in the middle. It gives you access to one model essentially, but you can also use their R1 model, which allows you to think ahead, to look ahead like ChatGPT 01. So it kind of has this reasoning capability. You can search online. So you can use it for search, just like with ChatGPT 4.0. I should say the user interface is very basic. What sets it apart is that it costs a lot less to train it. That doesn't surprise me, and I don't understand why the industry as a whole or people in the industry are reacting to it in such a way, and I'll kind of explain that a bit further. You can attach files to it, so you can click on that attach button here, load in text files and your data that you want to work with. And you can add 50 files at 100 megabytes each. So that's a lot. Now, one thing you want to be aware of is that DeepSeek is a language model that is made or created by a group in China. It's sitting on Chinese servers. So this uploading, I'd be very careful. And I would say this about any AI model, to be honest, but especially with all due respect to my fellow Chinese human beings or whatever. I wouldn't trust loading up personal information about your company, about yourself that is personal, that you don't want to share with the outside world, knowing that that data is going to go and sit in a Chinese server. You don't want to be doing that. But to be honest, you don't want to be doing that with OpenAI that much either, or Anthropic with Claude. I always say be careful of what you're uploading, what you're sharing with the AI models, because they're going to train on that data. Use it for your day-to-day if you want to. Now, another difference is here, currently they don't have the functionality of what you'd have in ChatGPT. If we go into ChatGPT window, I've got my custom GPTs, so that's a big difference between it. I've got projects in ChatGPT, just like I have it in Claude. So I can organize my chats. I can customize my profile. So I can customize the response that I get out of the AI model. I can do it in each custom GPT. So I get more control. That's where you have to decide, am I happy with the free model? And all that I want is to create quick responses versus I want to have a platform that I can keep coming back to and organize and customize in a way so that I get responses that I'm happy with. A question that you have to ask for yourself. For me, $20 a month on ChatGPT or on Claude, if I was using Claude regularly, or Perplexity or the others like Gemini as well, which is kind of free mostly in some respects. So you've got to decide if it matters to you, if you use it enough, or whether or not you want to be able to work with a free model in a very limited way. Because for $20 a month, I get, at least in ChatGPT, the ability to create imagery. I have the canvas where I can work and have a kind of a word processor involved. So currently, the interface is very limiting. So what was the big event was that this model was trained in a lot less data with and uses a lot less computational power than the other models. I don't understand what the surprise is, to be honest, because isn't that by default what's going to keep happening? New models are going to keep coming out and we're going to get more efficient at data usage. And I'm pretty sure that the people running tech companies, the big tech companies in this world, are not surprised about this. They're probably expecting these kinds of developments, especially when open source models like Llama and Grok, which kind of utilizes Llama from Meta, if those kind of models are out there and they're open source and people have access to the codes, then what do you expect smart people in China, in Korea, in Eastern Europe, wherever, to be able to, I mean, they're obviously going to access these models and keep developing and training on them and making better models, more efficient models. So this reaction on the stock market, and this reaction, you see it all in the media, and everyone's talking, and you go on YouTube and it's like, oh, all hell has broken loose. Guys, relax. It amazes me that us humans now react to every little thing with emotion and almost take things over the top. Yes, it means a lot to the industry that a competitor from China is now directly competing in terms of capability with the big models of OpenAI and the rest of them. If you take a look at another model called Qwen, LM.ai, you get access to another model that is free to use. And this one didn't make any waves. Why? Because it's not on par with its capability in reasoning and as much of a competitor in terms of as a language model to ChatGPT or Claude. But this went under the radar, kind of. And look at how many models they give you access to, each one with its capability. The most powerful one is quite good. You can work with artifacts like with Claude. So I can ask it, for example, let's create a program to organize files in alphabetical order in Python. Just like with Claude, shows me the code that it's building, and look how quick it was, and creates me the artifacts on the right to work out the results that I'm going to work with. So if I load up now a file and I can start building on this code, I get this for free, right? And in ChatGPT and in Claude, do a good job of it, I'll need to pay that $20 a month. But even more so, in Qwen, I get to access, let's go into a new chat, I get to access image generation. And I've got to say, for free, this is as good as any other image generation I've used. This is as good as Midjourney. This is as good as Flux in some respects. Each one has its pros and cons. So if I wrote a panda in karate uniform standing on one leg, just like with DALL-E, I'm able to create imagery in a free to use, and I'm actually unlimited here. It's okay, it's not the best image currently because my prompt wasn't amazing, but for free, I'm getting not only a text model, a really good image generation, and on top of that, I get also to work with video. I create video generation. I can write a panda wearing karate uniform, standing on one leg, kicking out towards the camera. And you can see the quality of their videos. The quality of videos coming out of Qwen is really impressive. But you can work at different aspect ratios. The web search is coming soon. I can attach text files and I can attach images to this chat window. And this is equally competitive, also coming seemingly from China because it's part of the Alibaba group. So it's definitely Chinese, right? And you can see from the characters that they're using, I assume that's why it is like that. Why didn't this get the hoo-ha that DeepSeek got? So my advice is, what you need to take out of all this craziness that keeps happening now in the AI world where a new tool comes in, the stock market goes crazy over it. You see it on CNN, you see it on other media, and everyone's talking like going, wow, you've got to use DeepSeek and leave ChatGPT. Take a breath and think and ask yourself, what do I need for my work now? What is it that I actually need? And what do I need to do? What you need is to be able, with all these tools, to be able to prompt well and to communicate to the AI models in a structured way, in the right way. I've got a video about how to prompt for custom GPTs, but essentially it's how to prompt for an AI language model. I'll link to that video at the description of this video and at the end of this video. And you can download my free template for prompting. And if you do that with DeepSeek, then you'll get good results out of it, I'm pretty sure. It'll have its biases, and it'll be biased to whatever, I assume also the Chinese government and the regulations there will affect the results that you get out of this. So it'll be biased in a certain way, just like OpenAI's models are biased in certain ways, and so is Claude and Gemini models. If you're a developer, you get access to the code because it's an open source and you can actually find it on GitHub. but most of us are not coding, are not developing language models, are not utilizing the API to these models. And, I'd be very wary of using this. And for $20 a month, I'm getting much better user interface from ChatGPT. But one of the problems I have currently with the interface of DeepSeek is that with ChatGPT, I have all my prompts now saved for each function in my custom GPTs and in my projects. And I have my YouTube helper project that helps me create content for the YouTube channel that you're watching it. So I've got my instructions, I've got my data in my project files, and it's helping me manage my YouTube channel. I can't do that here in DeepSeek, not in this interface. And also, I don't know if I want to share with it the way I operate, to be honest. That's my personal choice, let's say. Another thing I have a problem is I'm going to need to store all my prompts, my good long prompts that I keep writing, on my hard disk, upload them here. Copy and paste them actually, right? So I'll need to copy and paste my prompts. So if I go to a prompt like in my instruction, in my ChatGPT, I would have to paste all this into my chat window. That's a long prompt. Constantly to do that in order to get the kind of results that I like to get, so that it writes in my style, it responds in the right method and the right tone. I don't think you want to work in that way, to be honest. They'll probably develop it to have a user interface like OpenAI's, and I hope in the process they'll just keep getting better and better. And at some point, we're all going to have models that are so good, we're looking down a year, 2 years ahead of us, and then it's a question of, do you trust the people developing these models? Who do you trust with your data? And also something to be aware of, and the thing that why it's not surprising about a group creating a model like DeepSeek is that the open source model and the open source world is ultimately going to develop the best products in the future. And that's why it shouldn't be surprising. It shouldn't be surprising the effect of this, that the fact that it's even out there, just like Qwen is out there. You're going to get a lot of free tools or cheap tools that are going to be able to do amazing things. And then hopefully they'll all become local, and then you will want to use them. Again, I'm saying be wary of using and sharing your information with all these companies, all this data. I hope people aren't just freely just giving and feeding it with personal data, because it's the worst thing that we can do. So that's my take on DeepSeek. It's a solid option if you're not someone that's constantly working with these AI language models like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Gemini, and not building a whole library of prompts and investing time into it, and you're just someone who wants to kind of dabble in it and kind of get certain responses from time to time with it without uploading personal information, then yes, it's definitely a solid option to work with right now, and it's free. So why not? So if this video was helpful, click the like button and do subscribe to my channel for more AI tips and tricks. And if you want to improve on your AI prompting skills and be able to instruct the AI language models better, check out this video here on effective prompting, where you'll also find my free downloadable prompt template for you to use.